in that second half, because if you can't, well, you're not going to be able to close it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really exciting now for Rooster, right? That they have Anubis that is needing to be that map that's banned out for LFO starting on Mirage. So I think without further ado, we're going to dive right into it and get around it. Mirage, a very, very classic place to start it. So why not do it in the hometown, the MCG of Oceanic Counter-Strike. It is here. It is now. Rooster seem to have the upper edge in this veto. So we'll have to find out where it ends up, as this map, anything can happen.
Yeah, and I guess we've dodged Mirage so far, luckily enough for us here, but we'll see what it does have in store with a bit of a mid play to come in from Rooster, straight on up the guards through the connector.
All the way in. Savage is going to be the first one to find the opener here. Apoc Dud, though, turns away. He tries to spot out Palace, and that's TJP getting another dink on the hats as well. ASAP, though, responds nicely. Savage, head on a swivel. He is moving. He is shifting around the site, but he will be punished. ADK and nettik make quick work, and now it's all left onto Licky in a 1-on-3. Komodo, real toughie for him to find here, and he's spotted in CT.
Has an incendiary, but no kit. Time's pressured. Already dinked down as well. Wow. Immediate elimination. There was already the contingency of a flank as well from ASAP there. So not a bad pistol for Rooster. We saw a lot of slow pistols in yesterday's games as well. So it's a nice change of pace just to immediately get in. No nonsense. Use those Glocks, tap those heads, get the plant. An easy start for Rooster. But with no real damage coming through from LFO, the force up is going to be here. All the pistols. The scout for Savage. Let's see what damage they're going to be able to deliver.
Feeling it a little for Savage in that round as well. You know, it felt like he had a cracker start, and they just weren't able to kind of support him, I guess. You know, he was able to get into position, but Rooster then very quickly overwhelming from both angles on the site. Palace and A main. And immediately, Chelios walks out to pick away Apoc Dud. Licky was out there to try and help him at the start, but they're going to be pretty happy with that opening here from Chelios.
Yeah, just trying to navigate around these pistols as well. You don't want to be walking to any sort of stack. Savage with the scout is definitely going to be something that can be a little bit scary, of course, permitted by those frags in the last round that we saw. I want to see what Chell can do with this Mach 10. Farm up a bit of money early on. Don't get into that economical stress that we saw plague teams yesterday time and time again. We're seeing from Rooster, right? Just the amount of force-ups on the T side of Overpass, time and time again, just looking for that one round win to try and reset Vertex's economy, and it didn't come through until it was too late.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wonder if they're going to have something similar here, or if they're just going to be able to steady the ship and take it home.
Well, what everyone in the chat was saying yesterday is this is just going to be a warm-up game for Rooster. You know, they pretty happy to run through this one, and starting on the T side of Mirage, you know, their own sort of selection here on this map. It's definitely a hometown territory for them, and getting that wriggle on may certainly well be able to get into the heads of LFO early, but looks like they are walking their way out main. nettik, fantastic shot on towards CT, and TJP is going to be coming up connected to close it out as well. So an extremely clean round here from Rooster. LFO being ripped apart limb from limb. And as they start into this next one, it's going to be that full eco, likely expecting to see something a little bit different from them into this. But yeah, overall, good start from Rooster.
Yeah, good pathways from them as well. Realizing that they don't need to overextend themselves after they get that opening kill. Just come in together as a team on that A site and take it for a distance, right? You got the rifles. As long as you're not rushing on in, the pistols can't upset you too hard. In this sort of round, this is where you really just want to see 5 alive again from Rooster. Not losing any weaponry or utility, because you know the guns are going to come up from LFO in the next.
Straight up middle. ASAP in a position for a couple of eco frags, but he does have some support there. Chelios even from bottom con. Getting a couple of nice shots there. Only Apoc Dud sitting on the site. Does get the dink shot onto ADK, but he should be all right. And another round. Nice and clean for Rooster. They've done exactly what they need. Everything is happy. So now as they march their way into this first gun round against LFO, it is going to be all eyes on the Blue Boys to see what they can do on this CT side.
Absolutely. And I want to see Sterling with this AWP come out with impact as well. Chelios has already picked out his. So this is a full-fledged gun round as far as the eyes are concerned. Where are these AWPs going to be positioned? For Sterling, most importantly, over to the A side of the map. And it's just a standard deployment from LFO, actually. Not trying to capitalize on any forward momentum, forward plays. Just playing the 2-1-2. A little bit more emphasis on a look of mid from Hats, who doesn't actually have any utility behind himself. Keep in mind as well, I will note, there's no kit on the side of LFO here. So if Rooster do get into one of these sites, It's only going to be 30 seconds for a retake.
Everything invested into this round. Just patient. Rooster not making any mistakes. Very happy to kind of freeze time and see if LFO make any mistakes of theirs.
Yeah, and the problem is going to be for LFO in this situation, because they have players without much util. They're going to be focused on their crosshairs, but it means that Rooster can bait out a lot more utility with their own and hold just enough for a proper execute. You're going to start to see a shift from Savage over through the market. They have an idea that it might actually be up towards the A side of things with Hats in A main. Chelios will find Apoc Dud. There's actually a big duel in A main about to happen, Mitch. Because it'll be the bomb as well.
Yeah, that's right. So is it going to work out for him? Straight onto that line will be Sterling. It's a good response onto Chelios. And there we go, Hats. Only expecting one, though, in ADK. So all the pressure will go back onto Sterling here. There is that rotation over from Licky. He will hear some utility, but it's an awesome, awesome flash from ASAP. Really splitting the wickets here. Now, Licky has been mollied out as well, but he does move from the position. Still hot under the collar. And ASAP, that is a brilliant round from the big man here. Awesome start from Rooster, 4-0.
Yeah, that was a cracker of a kill from nettik as well. Just good team cohesion from Rooster when they get in towards the A side after a glimmer of fragging in mid as well, right? You see Chelios start off with that AWP, and then I'm mentioning Hats in that situation because he's the linchpin. If he drops both players at A main, that's the bomb, and that's no real time for Rooster to be able to go and retrieve that and get a plant and maybe set up for the post plant. So a big trade to come in from them in that location, and now it puts a bit of a reset on LFO's economy. A UMP, a couple of pistols, a duel. Actually going to be won early on by LFO, but trades are coming through again, and it's a bit scrappy.
I was about to say, that's a great flash into the back of the apartments there from Licky to allow that extra support. Hats going in with 2, but Chelios so quick, so sharp, will be able to respond and bring it back into this 3-on-3. So still only that singular AK recovered by Hats. Up towards top mid. Apoc Dud tries to go walkabout, but will be punished for it.
Decent damage from LFO in this one. It's not going to reset the economy of Rooster whatsoever, but there is a world in which Hats and Licky can clutch this one up. There's guns dropped as well, Mitch, so if Licky can get his mitts on one of those, it wouldn't be too bad an idea. As both players are still spread around the map, it's going to be Licky to see bomb flooding out of Palace. He's already taken down very quickly by ADK. Now it's all on Hats.
Certainly doable. But at the position he is now in short, ASAP is going to go fishing. He is 7-0 right now. He is just absolutely phenomenal in his positioning. He's been able to catch them off every single which way here. Rooster not feeling any pressure at all. Again, it is their hometown territory. You'd think the amount of times they've played this in officials, let alone how many times they've played this in pugs, right?
Yeah.
These guys between them would have thousands of hours in this map. And it's always looking strong for them. You know, it's the one that they apply international pressure as well. And, you know, when you can confidently pick this map against some of the best in the world, that's a statement.
Sterling threw smoke onto ASAP. You needed to see an opener from LFO in this one. So it's going to come down to see what Rooster can do with the player down. They have managed to sneak TJP into the apartments. Like, he doesn't need to go too far forward for a bit of a search at the moment. These point in time, you just want to see LFO kind of simmer down a little bit, try and bleed out any utility that Rooster do have. They've got a double AWP setup that they're running actually as well. It's not too often that you get to see this real early on in the game, especially when you're 0-5 down. It's a very large Hail Mary, a very large gamble plate that you're really wanting to pay off. And that is a nice one from Savage. Starting to look good for LFO in this one.
Oh, I was going to say, it was certainly looking good off the start, but that is such a tough line to be playing against an AWP. They do manage to get that response. Great trade out from nettik. Now the walk in towards position. It is traded by Sterling. Hats certainly will be feeling a little bit of frustration there, though, that the frag didn't come out quick enough. So all left onto nettik and TJP. 2 versus 3, 30 seconds, bomb in hand. And A site is completely open here. They have to play the extremities out, LFO, and just wait for Rooster to come to them.
Yeah. 20 seconds to go for Rooster to try and get this plan as well. And the bomb is at the bottom of connector. And there needs to be a big swing from TJ. They both have a molly. But you know that with 10 seconds now, Sterling can just disrespect that. He can challenge through it.
Gets the catch. Some sharp shots from Sterling in this round. The AWPs really paying off, but nettik
No time.
loves a 1v3, loves a clutch, but exactly right. No time to make it work, and he will be living through the round. No cash in the extra pocket, but taking the rifle through. They've got plenty of money here, Rooster, and it will be a pause called for LFO.
Yeah, first round on the board, the double AWPs moving into this new round as well, which you definitely want to see be the ending result of an investment such as that. Got to do a little bit of math as LFO, though, to ensure that everybody gets the rifles, the utility. You've already got enough kits, so you don't need to invest 400 anymore on that. But the problem is now for Rooster, that round doesn't reset them at all, right? So Rooster are going to have another buy. They can go in it again. And I say that that's a problem right now because this is where you want to make sure that you're not going to be dropping another round to afford LFO to start to build on their own finances, to start to gather rounds on the board, to start to get some confidence on this CT side of Mirage.
If there's any time to do it, it is now. Allowing Rooster to get too far away from this could really kind of put that extra unnecessary pressure onto LFO. And, you know, Mirage still relatively even when it comes to sides. You know, certainly not an advantage B on that T side. But Sterling, he is hitting some serious shots today. Savage, unfortunately, missing a couple.
Yeah, that's okay, though. You got the player advantage, equal HP for Savage and TJP. Again, another situation for Rooster where at a player disadvantage, just position. They have to try and do something potentially a little bit unexpected. They do have a lot more utility than LFO do in the current situation. Though with the double AWPs from LFO still in possession, of course, they don't really have to move around the map too hard for LFO. We're just going to get a stalemate of time at the moment before Rooster decide where they want to go, and it's going to look to be the Bravo site. Bit of utility to go for a setup, but you need to make sure that you're getting that window smoke down to at least try and eliminate Savage's AWP line.
Yeah, absolutely. Hats has a look. nettik obviously tagged up low from that HE earlier on in the round. And ASAP really just trying to get into position. Topicon will be smoked. They set their sights on towards B. They know it's only Licky. And Licky falling back towards the short pill is really awkward. TJ does get taken down. The Molotov timing is brilliant. But ADK doesn't care about the flames. He's going to cruise on through. Great shot from Savage. Now onto ADK, all alone. 1 versus 4. Has to walk up close. And they just leave the time. It's an awesome shot to start. But again, you know this man loves the clutch. But Sterling already on the line. Already in position. Know where ADK can go. And LFO have a nice response. 2 rounds in the bag now. But Rooster still do have that money to invest with, and Chelios has got the AWP in hand. But finally, Rooster have had the surface scratched on that financial position.
And the funny thing is as well, with those loss bonuses starting to build up too, if they do lose another one here, it's almost going to still permit them another buy and then a buy again, because we know Rooster are a team that essentially doesn't look to save in rounds that they think are going to be winnable and, more importantly, resettable as far as your opponents are concerned. This one though, Mitch, this is a quick one into A.
Yeah, absolutely. No holds barred at all. And they're going to open up nicely on the hat. Sterling does scop 1, but he only gets the leg shot. Now he knows exactly where they are. They're going to be onto that line. He just has to wait, has to be patient. Nobody inside CT at all, and Sterling's just been smoked off. They're going to have to go for the retake here, and it is not going to be fun at all. Whether or not they even try to proceed with this round, Komodo, was a whole nother question. I think they just save in a 4-on-5.
Potentially could. I mean, you've still got a lot of utility that you can try to get into the site in a situation like this, but because the time's already ticking and they're already on the side of the other side of the map at B, it is just about seeing what damage you can do at distance for APOC Dud. If you're Rooster, you're not hunting though. You need to make sure that you're taking all your weaponry still into the next round.
Just got to be careful. So the money, Hats is going to have something a bit average thrown together, I would say. Maybe a FAMAS dropped over. Get some utility together. They've got kits. The AWP's obviously still up. They have been strong. But Rooster just brute forcing that. You know, this is the thing that they know how to play against a team that kind of feels like they might have worked them out. You know, Rooster will be a team that is very, very versatile in how they want to approach a map.
Big decision right now, though, however, for LFO. This is one that you really need to be gathering back. You've still got those double AWPs. Do you look to get aggressive and not play these standard sort of lines with Sterling playing back at the ticket box of A? Yeah, Savage, shifting around a little bit. They do go for another different deployment of positions, as Sterling is already up in the ladder room. Just going to be waiting patiently again. Bit of a slow start. Investigation, actually, from TJP over at balcony. He just swung, tapped Savage's head off, and now we're going to start to see some retaliation from LFO at least. It's a bit scrappy around the map.
Definitely. But the main thing is, right, Rooster seemed to be a little bit disheveled. One walking up A, inside mid, but it's ADK who's just walked out dry and ripped Hats' head off. Hats, again, I remind you all, had so much impact. He was really kind of hard carrying against Vertex, and now so far hasn't really had an opportunity here. nettik surely should clear out APOC. Dard does spot the shoulder at right eye peak. Always makes it a little bit awkward. Now the smoke in towards the side of jungle. At Licky has to try to take side control. This is so rough.
Yeah.
Coming upstairs, they're just everywhere. Licky, can he hold on? He just has to wait for as long as possible. Just buy that additional time. Can he hit the headshot? Running out of bullets. HE over the top. He might be able to pepper him up a little bit. ADK, no HP. And Chelios has just left him. Chelios
it's been heard by Sterling, though.
Short now, exactly. And he's... Oh, my God. What? That's a Rooster round right there.
Absolutely.
That's sub combo, mate.
That's a round that just does not make sense in any normalcy, right? You've got a 3 versus 2 situation. You've seen that there's someone in window because that was already spotted out by the echoing of the AWP of Sterling, and then you got a player in Licky on the side itself. Usually you'd be told, all right, let's just regroup, right? And either re-hit A later on or just hit over towards B. Everyone wants to take a duel, apparently, as far as Rooster is concerned, and they still get the round, so you can't really argue with them. Now they're one away from securing the half, and we've already got a bit of an investment in through towards A main. The boost didn't work out, but the amount of utility that's already having to be dumped by LFO to gain this apartment's control, to gain some mid control, it's being respected by Rooster for the current time. nettik's actually holding Licky at bay in apps.
Much slower position here. LFO, obviously, with that mid lean, they are leaving kind of open a very obvious kind of gap. A has been the weak spot. So it is interesting to see them very much give that space to Rooster, especially with their focus set there again.
Real slow, this one. Not a lot of utility for LFO, man, to really play with. Couple of smokes, couple of flashes. A forward position of Sterling for sure. But all it would take is one flash to push him off that line, and he has to call for either APOC dub with an MP9 at distance, or Savage, who's got his head on a swivel, making sure that unders is catered for, and also up towards short to resist at B if the rotations from Rooster do tend towards that site. It's actually going to look to be a fake of A and an ending at B, though Licky finally rewarded for his patience at apartments.
Yeah, I wonder if those footsteps were kind of a little bit of a fake out there. That's fantastic. Sterling also picking up TJP, so it was certainly that fake that they were looking for. And now all on the Chelios in a 1v5. Does watch a lot of Jane demos, but whether or not he's going to be able to maintain that impression here, they know exactly where he is. And with 14 seconds, saving the AWP just might not be an option as Hats peaks up. I think Rooster got into their head a little bit there.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think Rooster maybe overcomplicated things a little bit with their regrouping and going for a little bit of a fake because they didn't invest any utility to get some control in apartments to clear it out, make sure it was clean, because the fake wasn't being sold over at A early enough as well, right? So they're trying to position themselves at 2 spots on the map where one hinges on the other's success, but before they can even start with that, the other one has fallen apart. So, well placed for LFO in that regard and in that respect to get that round over the line. But now you have to contend with a force by yet again. And for Sterling, he's rewarded by taking out Chell and AWP in the hands of TJP now.
Yeah, now very well done. TJP does have a good hand on the stick, but certainly a little bit disappointing always when you see Chelios go down, the in-game leader, the captain. So it's just a slow walk. Again, another slowdown of the round. Rooster, they had so much momentum behind them, and, they were happy to sort of throw any kind of strategy out the window for that one round, just sending their way out of A. But this time now, it seems like LFO have started to get a bit of a wriggle on. But the question's always going to be, Komodo, was this resurgence a little too late into the half, right?
Yeah.
Rooster already with 7.
Yeah, they've given themselves some good breathing room, that's for certain. And there's still definitely that resettable potential for them to make it 8, to make it 9. Maybe not right now because you're a little bit bare bones in what you're trying to attack with in this round. Good defense over at this A side as well, but some sneaky pathing in from nettik.
Oh, Apoc died not actually watching that line, but Savage is going to spot him out anyway. Savage has the additional information up towards Heaven as well. Doesn't really need to do much. Hats is going to help him out. Apoc died to find another as well. So 2 members low, but TJP with 30 seconds, 1 versus 5, AWP in hand, no money as well. It is a position where it's awkward, right? You know, saving the AWP on. Sure, you have that 1 round, but then you come out of that and you don't really have a whole lot of money anyway. So Licky has actually spotted him out. They can strangle him here, but I guess money for LFO not amazing either.
Yeah, and that's going to be the argument as well, because the CT side economy of CS is still such a fickle thing. You almost don't want to be giving TJP the chance to take a couple of scalps on the remaining bit of this round. Give it a crack at the end. Yeah, an echoed shot. It's fine. They know now that the AWP is in play, so LFO are going to have to adjust a little bit because of that, but it shouldn't be too scary. They know that there's not much loss bonus coming through to Rooster. They already went into that round looking a little bit mortal, and now they're certainly bleeding at the moment, because this is the time where the chance for LFO to get a 5th round on the board, try and win the next gun round to turn it into 6 and then 7 on the back of that next eco, where you play for the last round and a half, would be essentially a tied scoreline.
Much to ponder. But LFO certainly seem to have a level of stability behind them now. Comms clean. Heard that their practice has been going relatively well. So just a slow walk here in towards ramp. Hats got to be cautious. Doesn't want to get caught out. Doesn't want to give over the rifle. It is just the Glock, but it'll be a clean shot onto ADK to start us. 2 on other sides of the map.
Yeah, Hat's finding a couple of good kills. That AWP, though, in Chelios' hand isn't really netting any reward as your hero weapon in this round. Yes, salvage from the previous round, but you still want to see it getting some damage in the play. Hats is on the right line to stop the flood out of Palace from the remaining 2 Rooster members there. Sterling's going to find that first. Pretty simple, Mitch. In a round such as this, a well-navigated anti-eco.
It is interesting to see, though, so far, right? You know, Rooster only having that 1 round where they picked up the pace. It'll be interesting to see if they do make any shifts in the last parts of this half, or whether or not they sort of save their approach for the CT side. They do like to get aggressive, but it has just been a very slow 3 rounds, which I feel like was almost a little bit of the narrative anyway yesterday, right? Like, there was kind of that moment where the first half was really sort of hotly contested, but then as we slowly moved over towards that secondary half, there was moments of time where there was barely anything happening in the first sort of minute of the round, and that seems to be now a continuing trend that's dragged onto this part. They had probably the first 6, 7, 8 rounds nice and close, nice and fast, but it's slowed down a lot in the last little bit.
Yeah. I think LFO have just woken up to the fact of what Rooster are doing in these rounds, you know, spreading apart, not looking for too much aggression and too much tomfoolery that we usually associate with Rooster. Playing a little bit more measured. But now LFO, they're taking the fight to Rooster.
And Hats will punish. This is a good start from him. TJP does get the response, though. Does get the trade. And they will fall back into the end of apartment. So nettik just left at the helm to try have a little bit of a further look.
What do you look to do if you are Rooster here, though? A minute 20 on the clock. Do you just look to regroup and get an execute in? You've only got a single smoke grenade in the hands of nettik. That's actually going to be transition to Chelios. LFO playing a 2-2 split on either side of the map. It would give Rooster the affordance to just creep up through mid and go for a bit of a split execute in towards the A site. Grouping up, though, together. Savage now this time in A main.
Gone for a walk, though, Komodo. Might
Shadow.
get the engagement.
Oh.
Yeah, bad timing. had a look, was ready to jump up onto the vase, but it just doesn't work out for him, meaning that Sterling is going to have to take it all. It's a good flash, but only narrowly missing that shot. Does get dinked up, can get a Molotov on towards default there. But as they take control further of the site here, there is a little bit of extra support from Licky. But they have to wait so patiently. 7 points of HP. They are setting their focus towards this jungle side of the site. And they are going to plant on the opposing side of default here. Now getting in towards connector. APOC does... No, the quick switch! Oh, it's all falling apart here for LFO. Rooster kind of counting their lucky stars at this point as ADK on the flank as well. Picking it up. Oh, man. LFO. What sort of happened there, I guess?
I mean, Rooster knew what was going to happen in that situation. I think that was the go time as soon as they take away Savage, right? Is shadow advantage, but he turns away at the wrong time, try and potentially get up on that flower pot. And then they just steamroll in towards the side. It's something that we like to see for Rooster. If they are playing in the scrap more often than not because they're used to it, that's where they flourish a little bit better. Moving into round number 14, though. Everyone got the utility, the weaponry that you do want to see. Double AWP setup. Rearing its ugly head yet again for LFO, but this time straight into the A site yet again for Rooster.
Yeah, looking to get nice and quick. It worked out for them previously. Some fantastic damage by Hats, though, but that ticket booth, unfortunately, it is paper thin, as you can see there by ASAP ripping his head through. Savage does get a responding frag, but it's advantage going the way of Rooster. Good response.
Equalized.
Sterling at least bringing it back. Exactly right. 3v3 now.
It's hard, though, with the double AWP setup to get back into this. You want to see these HE grenades from Savage and Sterling meet the mark.
Yeah, really tricky. Another one from Chelios, too, so it makes it just so much more awkward. But ASAP, who has really had so much impact in the early and now current stages of the game, very, very good. That's awesome stuff to come out from both, you know, ASAP and nettik. So here we go. One more round in the half before LFO really sort of does start to let the stranglehold slip, Komodo.
And LFO are packing not much heat in this round either. A couple of pistols, an upgrade on Hats and Sterling with the UMP and FAMAS respectively. No kit either. This sort of round, you know, you can try and build up your economy as LFO, but the problem is when you lose a round, you're reset essentially. And for Sterling, I think he just got knifed by APOC Dud when they were trying to break the vent. That's what that damage was.
Pain. So what are you thinking?
This should be around.
Be enough?
I mean, this should be around for Rooster any day of the week. Better weaponry, better positioning, facing double digits. T side flows so much better for them on this map.
Yeah.
This is the round where you're essentially giving it to LFO by playing it fast, playing it a bit silly. You just play this one a little bit far forward. You got Sterling holding really passive line in mid-window. 3 players for LFO over at the A site. Eventually, come 50-second mark, one of them you would expect is going to have a little bit of a peek in either Palace or A main to try and get some information. They're 50-50 for their A main success and loss at the moment. Here at the 50-second mark, we'll see what LFO's transition does start to look like as Rooster starts to meander around towards the B side of the map.
I was going to say, you know, the A flood or A play from Rooster has kind of lulled LFO into a false sense of security, stacking up 3 towards this side of A, and now they are marching straight out B. Licky still at the back of the site. Lots of pressure on him here. Does he clear? No, it is going to be that opening shot. Warning shot, though, sent up from Sterling. Now he has to reposition as ADK and nettik get the responses in. Now into a 3-on-3, but LFO have got a lot of distance to make up.
Bomb plant down, player advantage. AWP on the side of Selfish Shell, but look at this. It's only pistols for the remaining members, Mitch. Now it's all on to Savage, up through short. He's already read by nettik.
Absolutely. Taken down, and it is a huge half here from nettik. Double digits for Rooster. Is 5 going to be enough for LFO? We'll have to find out after the break.
to let go. Take a chance, touch the sky, and you might just like what you find. Let's risk it all, put it on the line. Go and spread your wings, let's find out if you fly. Let's find out if you fly. Find out if you crash and burning straight to the ground, faster than a speeding bullet, don't make a sound.
And we're back with another half. Here we go into the action once more. Whether or not we are going to be able to see LFO bring this back, or if Rooster will continue their tear. nettik has just been an animal. Very, very tough to respond to for LFO.
Yeah, this is a
But
quick
sometimes,
pistol.
that T-side momentum, Komodo, maybe.
Oh, Chelios straight on towards Licky as the flood comes out from LFO. The gates are almost shutting in their face.
Absolutely. Slam on back in, but Hats gets the quick response. So does Savage. So the advantage goes back their way.
Okay. See if you can establish a plant in this situation. No kits for Rooster.
Bit of a slowdown. Just trying to really take control of the jungle position. They need to go together. Savage! Great responses, but ADK and TJP, they get their way back in as well. They don't have kits. They have to get moving very, very quickly. One member inside Palace, one member inside A main. And Sterling, I don't know, buddy, if that was the right choice there, my friend, because now as it is planted in position, Apokdad can get one, but he's got to be careful. TJP running for it, and he's out. That's the round.
No time.
It's done.
Yeah. Gonna play with
That's
the time.
A response for LFO. Basically what we needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Pistol round for LFO. If there was a kit in the end there for Rooster, it might have worked out a little bit better. You can see that Sterling whipping out on those P250 shots. He still has that insurance policy of Apokdad in A main to play the distance, and just an unexpected position at that point in time because Rooster mount their retake up through connector and out through CT. They don't know by the timing if there's already just been a gap for a potential flank later on where exactly Apokdad is playing from. So very nicely done from him. It will be a force up though from Rooster. Couple scouts, an A1S for TJP, pistols for the rest. This is the juggling that we do like to see for the team of Rooster. It's what we were kind of missing in yesterday's game.
Still a bit of an awkward one. Into the mid position now. Doubled up in the ladder room. This is always a position that you have to be careful of. ASAP playing anti. Do they clear it? Lull sense of security. Sterling, they've completely overlooked it, but Hats does clear, and now ADK. He actually dropped the footstep. I don't know if they've got to be... Okay, it's fine. Hats does hear it, and Hats does run in. There's a level of confidence from the big man. He has really, really picked up as this game has continued on. So site control is taken, and that's just going to be an immediate save for Rooster.
Yeah, it's going to be taking a couple of weapons into the next round to see what damage you can deliver with. But a round such as this on that anti-eco, or rather the anti-force for LFO on this point, you needed to be holding on to all of your weaponry. If you afforded TJP or nettik now with the scout to get some damage in earlier on, you know, it could have been a little bit upside down for them. We saw that there was another scout in the mix. Just only Sterling finding damage toward his body. His job done with the kill he was successful in finding. It's definitely the way that you kind of want to start off your T side, right? For LFO, you get that pistol round over the board. You shut down a force from Rooster. You're looking to turn it from this 10 to 5 essentially to a 10 to 8 now if you can navigate the next round well.
Definitely means that this game is far from over, but I guess, look, Mirage is always very much that, right? It's the common one where we see it go nice and tight. I think this was actually a 16-14, believe, between, rather, John Industries and Rooster. Rooster only walking away with the winning round right at the end of full regulation. So 3 rounds of difference. Money good for LFO. Confidence behind them. And only a very gentle reinvestment here from Rooster.
Wouldn't mind seeing some aggression from Rooster from these pistols into something like A main. You know, you can always just get a pop flash out and a bit of flooding. You'll either get information that LFO are there, or you can put your forces back towards the other side of the map in knowing that they're not there. These are the sort of rounds where it's just a $200 investment that can actually net a big reward. single smoke up to the top of connector, however, and that's just blocking any piece of vision that Rooster have from their members over at this A site. That you could not ask for a better piece of utility from LFO just to get some clean pathing in towards this B site.
Yeah, no, well done, because this is just going to be an immediate save from Rooster, right? They know that they've gambled on the wrong location, and this is kind of one of those rounds where we just let it simmer, I guess, right? You know, there's not really anything that can kind of be said or done. Just means that LFO find themselves with 8. They're taking their time to get this plant, though, down. I mean, look, if Apoc Dud goes fishing a bit too far, it might get a call from concern. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of sacrifice a bit if you're nettik ASAP and ADK. You've got no prize of weaponry to take the next round. Chelios did have a scout. Probably going to get that AWP in his pocket next round, so it doesn't really matter too hard. So the frag's coming up for LFO. Build a little bit of confidence, I think, more importantly, for the likes of Apoc Dud and Licky. Struggling a little bit on the kill mark.
Couple of nice shots, but the most important weapon, obviously, in the hands of TJP. That's been taken through. That's been saved nicely. But I think the awkward item here is that there was a few frags found by that MAC-10, meaning extra cash money. So LFO have stacked themselves up really, really nicely, and it's made it very competitive. So the AWP will come out for Chelios. ADK will have a buy here as well.
There's some good cushioning for LFO if a round doesn't go their way. And if they get some good damage in this round, but they still end up losing it, you know, you're only getting the loss bonus to come into a bunch of the pockets of Rooster. It's not enough to justify a full force. TJP is sitting pretty on 4K. They could go for like a hero weapon if they do end up losing this round for the next one. But, you know, for Rooster, this is going to be such an important round for them to have to gather. Cutting a few corners with their investigations into mid, cheating a rotation early on for ASAP. So they don't really have a lot of utility behind this one to kind of play it very passively. Now the hit is on in towards this B site for LFO.
Yeah, they move quickly into that position. ASAP with the opener, though. Chelios already here. And Hats, I don't think he's actually going to have this lookout. So ASAP gets himself another ADK. A couple of missed shots, and Savage will actually be able to flush him out. Savage with 2 massive kills, ripping both the heads off as Chelios still towards the back of site here. They have slowed it down. nettik has joined the party now, Komodo. They do start to move on in. But Savage just has to find the right amount of timing. They know exactly where he is now, but that is going to be more frags found. TJP will get a couple into this 1v3 clutch now. Is it a possibility? Bomb dropped. Just have to buy the time. Sterling.
The noise.
Does he have the info? Did he think he dropped down? Repositions. Now he knows 100%. Sterling!
The shadow again.
Oh, man. That was tight.
Yeah, TJP tries to bring that one back, but unfortunately the shadow giving himself away there. You hear the footsteps. He had to go for a reload as well. Big ups on Savage, though, to be able to get those trades. You saw Licky knocked his head on the windowsill trying to get on out. You think it might fall over for LFO at that point in time. But yeah, Savage just swinging about, shooting up a storm. Sterling in for the clutch at the end where required. And now we're within 1 round. With that money that I said of the loss bonus and what TJ had to spare, there is a bit of a buy for Rooster here. At least affording, again, another buy in the next round if this doesn't go their way. But then we're talking about 5 unanswered T-sided rounds to equalize. Momentum is certainly shifted towards LFO.
The least comfortable position for Rooster. You know, letting LFO get a level of momentum behind them. You know, you look at this team, sure, they haven't been around for that long as a 5, as a unit, but the amount of experience across all of these players, you know, every single one has had that high-level individual experience across international matches, right? Apoc Dud probably the least, and even he has some under his pocket, so...
Oh, this can look a bit awkward. Hats, though, able to wrangle the spray on towards nettik. Gotta remember that AWP from Chelios is already bit on towards Apoc Dud too.
Awkward timing. Sterling having a look over at the top of the stairs, and Licky will get a response. So Hats has to actually reposition back in towards the apartments. Where's he going to go with it, though? Because that bomb obviously is in the hands here of the big man in Savage. Hats may, though, potentially feel like he's got some control that he actually doesn't. This is a very big call, Komodo. You know, Hats has definitely made this one, and I think he's actually setting him back.
He doesn't need to do anything. That's the thing.
Exactly. He's got control of jungle.
He's playing in the mind of Rooster at the moment. Chelios has to go through the murder hole and get his head... Well, it's not his head, but he gets knocked off. Now it's all on ASAP.
Oh, Licky, what a big round. 4K for the man.
Yeah, and that's pretty much on the back of having that player advantage as well, affording Hatch to be able to do that and try to draw rotations, draw information to the B site, allowing a much cleaner finish for LFO.
Damn. You thought that potentially that was a missed call. You know, ASAP's positioning was brilliant, and he definitely read both of the positions, both of the plays, but, you know, that's where you wonder who kind of was that voice in that moment to say, no, slow down, come it back towards A. Licky had that control. The Hat's taking some early damage as well. They are going to walk into Palace. They are going to try and re-establish control of mid.
Such an important round for Rooster here. Without SAT side of rounds just yet. Bare bones in utility and kits in this one. Need to just put up a good stalwart defense with the crosshair shooting. And they're already going to have vision blocked over into mid. They almost just have to concede full control of this location. As LFO start to waltz over towards this A site, they're going to set up for a Palace Flood. Already spotted out by TJP though. More info. Needs more.
Needs to live on, but he's going to get dunked down by that HE grenade. The Molotov also good just for extra surety. But it's a bond that is created. 4 versus 4. So far, the HP disadvantage goes the way of LFO. Chelios is going to be happily repositioning onto the other side of that smoke. So they're just going to pump the brakes for a, maybe 20-second period here, LFO, but their eyes are still on the A side.
Yeah, LFO can go for a re-hit. 2 smokes and 2 flashes. You're able to block off some crucial positions and afford the team in. It's actually going to be the top of connector smoke, rather, for them. 30 seconds to go, though, and they're just settling down behind that smoke, trying to sell that it might actually be a fake in location.
Oh, so much sort of begging on timing here. Sterling has sort of checked his way towards CT, but Chelios is just moving at a perfect sort of timing here. But Sterling hits the shot. Kiwi Orpa takes down Kiwi Orpa. And now it's into this 3-on-3 position again. A response, though, now. 10 seconds. They have to cross. They have to get into position here. Sterling looking to find that pick, but can they even look to get the plan? ASAP rocks up at the right time, and he's dropped it. Sterling, left all alone, does go down before the time, but it's the king with the swing again in ASAP. Having a monstrous round here. Mr. Reliable. The Rooster lead taken back. 11 rounds now. And the money isn't as perfect as you were kind of hoping for LFO.
It's about time, though, that Rooster gets something happening on this CT side, right? 5 unanswered rounds that LFO are able to just gather on, and now finally one back on the side of Rooster. They'll be able to get up a good purchase, but the money that LFO themselves had built up as well, it's just going to be a full gun round for everybody. Bit of a time for a chat, though, for LFO. 1 round loss for sure, but I still think that momentum is flowing on their side. No AWP for Sterling on this T side at the moment either. So you're just going to see Chelios with the boomstick potentially locking down a powerful line. Whether or not they're going to change up their location. Have to wait for the round to start to see that. Towards the mid and the B side of the map for LFO. This sounds like it could potentially be a quick B play. Not going to be spotting out too much utility, but that single incendiary will stop them in their tracks for the time being.
Yeah, should have heard the audio cue as well. All the way up short, here's Chelios. So he's in a prime position to get it done, but this aggression from short, if ADK lets him down, it might get a little bit awkward here, Komodo, but look at the speed, look at the greed. ADK has wiggled his way out, though, but the Macca's smokes will keep them at bay, giving him a little bit of space, a little bit of distance. ADK yet to be spotted, so it's still going to be a 5-on-5 for this plan.
Oh, nettik takes out Hats with the flames. A minute to go. They can settle. Wait for this flank to come in from Apoc Dud, but time is going to be such a crucial beast because all these smokes fade.
It's crazy the hesitancy that LFO have been showing in the latter part of this take, right? ADK, though, walks ahead when he didn't really need to. Sterling, 3 big kills between him and Savage. And now it's ASAP. Does manage to pick up 1, but whether or not it's even worth going for it here, I mean, he will, because it's ASAP. And you're never actually going to count him out either. Does get up towards short. Information gathered. There's another pick. Savage gets taken down. Now they have to play this to perfection. There is no AWP that's going to be trained onto this line as short. It's just Licky and Sterling. Teammates played together for a very long time. Sterling on the line, on the cross. ASAP, will he swing it? Yes, he will. He's got to find that frag, but it's not going to happen. Licky gets it done, holding it true. That was almost going to be the 1v4 in favor of ASAP, but no. Can't make it work. Can't make it happen. And instead, it's LFO fighting an 11th round here.
Yeah, you needed that trade to come through from Licky at the end there, didn't ya? Just some good navigating around the site to come in from ASAP. Good individual prowess. Just doesn't get it over the line at the end. Tied up scoreline yet again. Around to LFO, but another timeout utilized now. We know that the buy is coming through from them. We can sort of say the same for Rooster. It's these points in time where, you know, as a tracker of the money, it becomes a little bit difficult for these IGLs and for the team to get a good sense of where they're at. With the weird buys that Rooster come forward with, it can be a little bit more chaotic to track as well. A couple of A1Ss and a scout, waiting to see if there's anything else that's on the floor that'll potentially come. You know, TJP with that deagle, ADK can potentially get something happening as well. Does kind of look like for Rooster, though, they're only going in with this sort of purchase to make sure that they've got a decent buy, decent enough-ish buy in the next round if they do lose this one. Get that $3,400 in their pockets.
So much pressure on this round for Rooster, hey. Really, really need it. I was certainly starting to think it was going to go their way a little bit, just the way that LFO approached that site take. I started to sort of fall into the trap that Rooster set, but then Rooster kind of overextended a little bit, putting ASAP in such an awkward position to try fight for the clutch.
Yeah. Again, these situations as well, not too much utility for Rooster. A bit of a gamble stack over towards A. It's actually the better site for them because this is where LFO are going.
They're all going to be here, though. 5 members of Rooster. Great read indeed. But is it going to actually be the committance? It looks like it will be. ASAP's picked up 2 here. Completely blind on one of them as well.
Oh, both.
Yeah.
With the smoke
Rips
on a
the head
Savage.
off. That's the information, though. Will it lull him into a false insecurity? It will. ADK gets caught. Hats finds nettik. Now he knows exactly where this other one is. And Sterling runs at him. Does have the scout, not the AWP. Can't quite do it at close range. But now look at this hesitancy again. This is the thing that you wonder. What call? Who has made this call, this decision? Because Rooster are an unmovable object. ASAP TJP, they are not 2 members that you want to be fighting on this A site.
Got to remember, ASAP already showed his face here with 2 kills too. So you got to have an idea that they might just sit pretty for the timing. 30 seconds to go. Where are ASAP and TJP actually just going to be looking when the hit happens?
How long do they wait? That's going to be the question. So interested to see who's potentially making the decision, making the call, but there you go. Sterling finds TJP. I don't think they'll be ready for ASAP. Surely not.
He's low, though.
ASAP's going to check the flank exactly right. Look at this reposition. It's going to be all about the plant where they get it, and it's fine. It's A-okay. They clear it right. Sterling has the idea in hand, and maybe, just maybe, you know, not enough sort of eyes to watch overall positions of that site for ASAP and TJP, so it works out for them. I eat my words, and LFO take the lead first time in this map, pretty sure.
Yeah, we've got it pretty close now in the tail end of the second half, and I want to throw it back to what I was talking about in the pre-show. The second half's looking a little bit dire for a couple of these teams. This time it's Rooster yet again. It was that against Vertex. CT side is a bit of a plague for them. Weaponry this time. You got a Famous in the mix. That never really bodes a lot of confidence.
Good opener, though, from ASAP. He's really been the impact man these last few rounds. Savage, though, going to get a response. Shows 2 faces in position. And now nettik has to try and pick away APOC Dud here. Does actually choose a different side. Chelios has also been punished, but there's nettik with that frag. So it is into a 3-on-3 again.
Yeah, these trades are coming through very rapidly. Though you still give advantage to LFO in this situation. No smokes, but a bit more utility. Better weaponry with these AKs and... yeah, no Galil. Where you flip it on over, you still got that Famous in the hands of TJP. Would love an upgrade with the ADK pressured over at this B site position known.
Licky gets it started again. So at least this advantage falling the way back. TJP, ADK. ADK is going to be pipped as well. So that's Hats finding control, finding a charge.
Gotta
This
save.
is such an awkward position now. Exactly, has to save. Huge, huge swing round here. Obviously, LFO are already on the upswing, but this should be 13 and 14 in the bag.
Yeah, maybe.
Unless TJP can get away with murder into the next with his saved weapon.
The ball is certainly in the half of LFO's court, right? They have stolen it. They've been passing amongst each others, just keeping it away from Rooster. They're going to be able to extend this lead, and all we need to make sure they do is not trip over their own shoelaces. TJP just taking this AK into the next round. You've got 3,400 full loss bonus to back it up from Rooster. But apart from that, if you go for a force, you're opening the account for LFO to find that map point. You won't have anything on the back of it, essentially. If you lose all 5 players in the next round, that's essentially going into the next one after that with a couple of upgraded pistols, famous at best. So we'll see what this buy does look like. TJP can drop an A1S or an A4 to a teammate. There's going to be no chance of an AWP. Chelios has already bought into a FAMAS. Looks like that's all that we're going to be taking into this round. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, late buy. I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if next round TJP drops the AWP over towards Chell.
Oh,
big opener.
He's so ready for it. That's the thing. Sterling cops the leg shot and does find the frag.
Want to see that scout picked up. It's in no man's land, though. You never know if LFO are still going to be looking after that one. Sterling's not going to be the one to go in with 12 points of HP. He is just going to set up all the utility. Meanwhile, you do have Chelios pushed all the way through mid. They have an idea that it's going to end at A. They just need to get these bodies over to this A side.
Walking out now. Will they find the right timing? ASAP. Awkward line and TJP, the man with the weapon in hand, obviously smoked off here. It looks like they will be able to afford this plan. Relatively safe, exactly right. They are in position. And there's 2 opening frags. Licky tries to equalize, brings it back to the 3-on-3. But look at this position. ADK finds it. So does Chelios. And now it's the AK in hand. Savage inside Palace. But will he be the king here? He has been spotted. And now the nade can go on in. It makes it so awkward. Gets out. But he's actually going to run around. They're not going to get off of this. No chance. They're just going to stick it. They've got the confidence. They've got all the positioning. So unfortunately, Savage will be dubbed the prince in this round.
Yeah, that's huge. Honestly, the flank to come in really early on from Chelios. All of the smokes that are just disrespected by Rooster as well. Knowing that they've got the lesser weaponry. Knowing that there's a potential that they can catch LFO off guard. Who are maybe thinking it's going to be more of a structured retake to come through from the CT side. No. Straight into their face. And now we've got a decently good buy to come through from Rooster. Actually, it's pretty gorgeous. They've got the AWP in the hands of Chelios. They've got money behind themselves in case they lose this one. If they win this, we're tied up yet again. And we're looking at nil investment from LFO in the next.
Yeah.
Definitely the time to get back into this game as Rooster on this CT side.
It's as close as it was, like, deserving, right? You know, this series, this day, everything about this evening needs to be close and competitive. And Sterling already dropped down to 9 points of HP very early on in the piece.
Yeah, up at top mid. He's waiting. Setting up the utility potentially for Hats to go in, or they're just waiting, seeing if there's going to be any players on the Rooster squad that get up through mid that want to take the space for themselves. It's actually going to be the A main crawl from Rooster. This is a good amount of information for them, but APOC does. Sees 2, finds 1, doesn't have to reinvest. He does not need to keep on going for this one.
Oh,
now they know that the
flash.
AWP is over at A as well.
What an awesome round there from APOC, Dad. You know, TJP going for a wander down yonder and will be punished for it. Bit of a stumble down the streets of the RSL. And nettik gets the equalizer. That's the response that they desperately need. He actually picks up 2 here. Savage and Hats will be taken down. Head on a swivel. What a round there from nettik. He has been the man on the impact here. Now ADK watching that line. It's actually ASAP to do it well. And now they're in a really horrible position here, LFO, and they actually turn the tides, turn the tail. 20 seconds. Are they just saving Komodo?
Yeah, you have to at this point in time. You want the AWP in the next round. The AK for APOC dud. Lost bonus will come on through, and you can get some investment from the rest of the team. Hats for an AK. Licky or Savage might get dropped to Galil from APOC dud, potentially, who can drop down onto a little bit of just the utility mark. See what sort of buy this is going to be. But it does mean we are going to be equalized 13 apiece.
Man. It's so gross. Like, they have to just kind of half buy around it, right? You know, there's no point investing any more than a deagle into this. Hats can drop 1 over to Savage. Licky can buy 1 of his own. But this is just such a bad and botched position from LFO.
This is the round that if LFO go for the force up with what they can and they lose it, you're conceding a 15th as well over towards Rooster. And then you have to play for overtime. So you just have to go in with a save. You'll be able to re-get out your weaponry in the next round, regardless of the outcome here.
Just have to hope from a hero play from Sterling. That's all that they can rely
like
on.
that. Or APOC dud. You've got no utility. You just have to go
ahead
dry.
of the molly. Will he find the timing? I think ADK's actually heard it, so he's been peppered down straight away. Hat's also taking damage. Licky, it's all happening. Apoc Dud, though, does get taken low, but does get a frag in the process. Licky picks up another one as well. There's chaos inside this round. That's 2 for Apoc Dud Komodo. This is such a pace changer. Exactly right. The only saved weapon in the round is doing bits here, but it's still... Look at the low HP from these members of LFO. Now they hightail it back towards A. Licky gets another. How is this working out in the favor of LFO? It's going to be all eyes on TJP as he sits towards this A side. But Licky, he's made it down the middle, up the guts. ASAP has to wait. There's so much control for these members to try and rely on.
LFO have taken a page out of Rooster's book of just chaotic, unexpected Counter-Strike. Just taking the gunfights to them.
TJ!
And now it's on to TJ. He needs all 3.
He gets 2. Has he found the third? He might actually be able to do it. He's on the line. No, Sterling. He does manage to find it, but that gives Anist enough time. Licky's into connector. Is he going to drop down? He definitely has. Surely. Has to have. Heard the footstep. Drops in. Does he spot the time? Does he clear the line? No, he doesn't. It's Licky. Licky and Apoc Dud and Sterling to try and test the metal. TJP goes for it. Goes for gold. But at least Rooster still have the money to reinvest here. My God, I cannot tell where this game is going. And I think there's only one place that really can end up at this point in time, Komodo. I'm not going to say it.
16-14 to one of these teams.
Ah, yes, of course. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Maybe even at 16-13 if LFO are able to convert this round, because there would only be that loss bonus coming through Rooster in the next.
I think there's it's like the trifecta, or maybe even if you go the arms of Exodia at this point. It's Oceania, Mirage, Rooster, but there's no Mac.
There's no Mac, yeah.
The's no Mac. So if
Used
Mac
to be
was here...
Chiefs as well, actually, when it was Mirage.
Yeah,
I
Chiefs
think
was
more
another
so
part
than
of it.
Rooster.
Yep,
they were
that's
Chiefs
right.
for a bit, anyway.
Yep, you're right.
Here we go, though. 13-14 Rooster to try and get us into the full rounds of 30. They have all the weaponry that they want. They've at least got a kit in play as well on nettik. What changes do we have from them, though? That's the real important thing. Are we just looking at passive-natured approaches, or are we looking at a little bit of aggression from them? It's looking to be the former from both sides. Utility set up towards this B site. He needs the opener here.
They even go for the flashing towards apartments as well. He goes for the timing on the line, but that sent him away. It is a fake, though, Komodo. Look at this approach now. They shift back towards mid LFO.
Yeah, they're baiting out info. They're baiting out positions. Trying to bait in Rooster to their death. Savage, however, down to 37 HP.
Damage onto Apoc Dud. Information gathered. It's ASAP again from short to pick up a couple. Lots of damage peppered down. ADK gets another. Savage will fall. And this round is going the advantageous way of Rooster. I mean, there is some cash in the coffer for LFO, but you do not want to be fighting a 14-14.
You can pause if you're Rooster here. 5 versus 3. They can't plant in the bloody middle of the map. You can just bunker down on your site of choosing.
Look at all the focus in towards mid as well. They are so trapped here. nettik only needs to watch that corner. Apoc Dud has to go so big. They're shouldering from CT. They're looking for it all, and it's going to be nettik that does walk on in there. 2 versus 5 here. ASAP has been felled. Licky gets the slam dunk as well from the 3-point line. He's thrown it down, and look at this immediate reaction from Rooster. Diving into a main, straight back into CT, just watching from Murder. But ADK has really got himself into position here, Komodo.
There's no way they can plant safe.
They have to clear all the lines, exactly. They have to go for the fight. TJ gets into position. Sterling hits the shot, but now it's going to be all on whether or not they can hit that plant. The bomb, it's dropped CT. Can he go in for this? No, the flashes. He just wants to save. He just wants to get out of there. Sterling has to hide, and he might actually be going to do time for the crime. He's under the balcony. Do they look for it?
Nah.
I hate this game.
Rooster themselves don't have money either, Mitch. They can't go for the hunt in that location. And those situations, rather. Sterling holds on the AWP. He can drop a weapon for his teammate. The problem being in that one is those two openers, as I said, a 5 versus 3 scenario. You do not need to move your feet as Rooster. And then when you get it into the end, when you see those kills from LFO, there's no way they can plant on the A site because of the 3 positions that Rooster are playing in. There's no safe spot for a plant. No guaranteed position.
I'm so stressed.
The problem being, though, is there's 2 Tech 9s on the side of LFO. They need an opener, and it's almost feeling like it has to be Rooster who are going to misplay to give them an opener if they have a chance of getting one.
This is nuts. It just feels like desperation plays on both sides, right? You know, big individual performances from players just trying to pull up their socks and kick it out the park, trying to close it, trying to make it strong, fighting for a spot at IEM Sydney 2023. The return of Tier 1 Counter-Strike to Australian soil.
Big importance on an opening kill here. ADK, imagine if he gets his head taken off the shoulders. That could have been go time for LFO if they were grouped around this B side of the map. Instead, there's going to be 2 players positioned towards the Bravo site, 3 towards mid. An exchanging of utility. Nicely timed incendiary from ASAP, though. Could have kept them at bay, but Sterling a dry peek onto it. B is looking a bit open.
This is going to be tough. ADK has to play a very, very awkward line here. Hat straight through the fire. Licky is going to get the punishment onto ADK as well. So one step closer for LFO
Save.
to 15. And yeah, you're exactly right. No money at all. LFO break this barrier. They look to hit 15. But look at the freeze. They don't even want to go for the plant. TJP's been taken down by Sterling as well. And I'm sure Chelios is screaming at TJ, what are you doing? It's nettik that's the only one that potentially might have this rifle, and he's actually looking for the crossover. He's going to go for that shot. He's going to walk straight into the crosshairs of Sterling, I reckon. There it is. Done. 31 frags for Sterling, and map point here on Mirage.
Yeah, it's a massive difference for Sterling as opposed to yesterday's game, isn't it? When we were looking at LFO taking over, or rather battling up against Vertex, Sterling was missing a bunch of shots. He ended the whole series across 2 maps on 31 kills, Mitch. And he's already managed to achieve that in just here, the first map in this series.
Getting it done when it counts. Clearly, Sterling is an experienced member, but as we sort of said before this qualifier, he had 4 months off competitive play. I think he was touring around Europe, having a great time. Deserved good rest. Fresh legs in the server.
Well, we'll see what can happen here for LFO if they're going to be able to close it. It's just a couple of pistolas, an MP9 and a FAMAS, of which tucked in towards the firebox. I haven't seen LFO completely put util to clear that location yet. Oh, is Licky going to do it? Oh, it's actually going to go on the balcony instead. You can feel the weight on Chelios' shoulders. Okay, he gets 1.
1 is not bad. Certainly not done. There's only 1 more member here towards the back of that site. It's going to be TJP. Just those. Throw the flash. There's a rotation coming in from ADK.
Nah, you can see LFO are going back to set up utility, but checking for a flank because it was Chelios earlier who solidified a round for Rooster on the back of a flank. There's just that paranoia in your mind. And look at this, ADK.
Keep going.
Oh, he spotted him.
They've got the info now. They know that it's actually pumping the brakes. That's the thing about this reposition, because now Sterling has been tagged up. They're hesitating. They're freaking out. It's a dance with the devil on the A site. Just holding from CT, moving in towards that position now, and immediately they're up connected, but that's going to be Apoc Dud taking out TJP. An overstay of his welcome. Holding true, looking to get that plan. It's a dink shot onto Hats. ADK, though, getting a response back to him. ASAP drops Apoc Dud. Hats gets the trade, but now 20 seconds remain, and that bomb is still not in the hands of anyone. nettik with the great shot, 15 seconds. He has to get both, but still, again, no plant Komodo. He's going to jump out the connector, but is he going to be ready for it? Here he will. Sterling. An incredible game from him. 32 massive frags, and it's a tight line. 16-14 on Mirage. Komodo. I said we desperately needed a treat in the server, and we got exactly that. What a abs...